Hi you guys, how are you? Today I'm going to show you how to do a black and white painting. This is the one I was going to show you guys how to do, and if anybody loses more files than me, I'd give you a medal, because I'm always losing my files of when I'm going to do a painting, and apparently I lost the files of when I painted her, and I really wanted to show you this process. So it's going to be being painted on a grayscale. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to do a value scale. So value is when you go from light to the darkest dark. It's like a black and white picture, and it starts showing, it starts teaching you guys how to be able to see the difference in the darkness in your paintings. Some people have a hard time seeing that, and when you do get that value scale right, you can put any wash, color wash over it, and it's gonna be right. It doesn't matter if your values are right, your painting's gonna be right. So like if you do a darker value, it gives you depth in there. So not as much as like the saturation of a color, but the value. So this would be probably the darkest value, and this one, they would match. If you squint your eyes, you can see the value scale, or if you have anything that's red, it'll give you the value scale of something. Let me see. So I have my painting, and if I put this over it, it gives you that value scale. Let's get a painting that has color, and you'll see what I'm saying. I got this little value finder, or this little red thing, from a fabric place in London. I ordered it on I ordered it from, what was it, eBay, I think. So you see, it shows you the values. And sometimes some things look dark and it looks like the value changes, but it doesn't. Just because you're changing a darker red or a very saturated red from a yellow, you'd be surprised how sometimes it's the same value. So this kind of stuff helps you find the value. So it's just red. It's just a little red thing that I got from the UK. It's called a value finder, the easy value finder. So I got it on Amazon, or eBay, I mean. This one's from West Warren, Massachusetts. It's called Easy International. But I didn't pay much for it. Anything that's that color will help you find. I've seen a lot of plastics that are this color. So yeah, you can go ahead and use that to help you find it. And you can do a wash, and what a wash consists of is, I wouldn't tell you to do a wash if you were going to put color on your painting with turpentine, because turpentine will eventually destroy or take apart your oils. I would ask you to use linseed oil. And if you've watched some of my tutorial videos, you'll know that I put half linseed oil and half turpentine, and I mix them together. So like if I have this full of linseed oil and I put it in here, I would get another one full of turpentine and put it in there and mix it, one part and one part. Makes my linseed oil to do washes, to do sketches, to turn my thick oils into a watercolor effect. It dilutes your paint. So you can use whatever turpentine you want to use. I use this one. It seems like every time I go to Hobby Lobby, it goes up the price. This is the one I use. The odorless paint thinner. Now, I've had people, when I'm at Hobby Lobby, I've had people talk to me and they tell me, you know, we all try to give each other advice and stuff. And I've had people tell me that they use paint thinner from the store, like at Home Depot, or, you know, which one's the other one? One of the depots or Walmart. And one thing I have learned from talking to other artists is, and from watching some of the other artists, is that stuff is not made for you to be inside a studio constantly working with it. And so this is better filtered for you as an artist. So I would use artists paint thinners. That's what I would do, or turpentine, instead of using, you know, stuff from one of the depots. And I did do that one time. I did buy it, and it was like, it stunk, and it built this like milky substance all the way at the bottom. With this one, it never happens. As far as our brushes, what I'm going to use, I used to be very particular. I'm not particular anymore. Use whatever brush you want. If you want to give something texture, then use a brush with texture in it, a harder brush. These are the ones I use, and I'm very sad because my local Hobby Lobby is not going to carry them anymore. So I'm just going to have to go with whatever they have now. But I used to buy these scents. See, they're $7.99, and they were on clearance. That should have been a wake-up call for me that they weren't going to make them anymore or be selling them anymore. And it has all kinds of soft brushes. And if you want to give it a soft look, use a soft brush. If you want to use a bristle brush to give it texture, like if you're doing, I don't know, hair or ballerina, tutu, or something that wants that little texture, or wood, the grain of wood, then go ahead and use a bristle brush. So I'm not going to tell you to use a specific brush. Use whatever you want to use. These are perfect when they come in sets like this. I would recommend you buy them. I used to be particular. I'm not anymore. And most of my paints, like I use Winsor Newton or Georgian or anything that Hobby Lobby has on sale. See? So I used to be, I was. Now, I've learned. Use whatever you want. So we're going to do that, and we're going to use one of my little black and white pictures, and we're going to go ahead and transfer her. What I did is I painted this gray. I bought this. This is an old painting that I did, and I didn't like it. So I went ahead and I did a couple washes on it. And they had this gesso or gesso. I have an accent, so you'll hear it. So I used this, and my God, this went a long, long way for me. So I did one coat, waited for it to dry. I sanded it a little bit with a little sandpaper because it had texture in it. Some people like that. If you want to paint with texture, go ahead. Mine still has a little bit. I did like 3 coats to give me this gray. It's like a 5. So I did that since we're going to be doing a black and white painting. That's perfect. And guess what? One of my viewers told me about this cool little thing. Now, let me show you. He told me, have I ever tried to do a tracer? And I guess on one of my videos, so I said I wouldn't use one. Well, you know, that was like 3 years ago. Now I'm open to it. Yes, I do like freehand drawing. And if you love to freehand draw, by all means, freehand draw. Some people call it cheating if you do this. This is going to be the first time I'm ever going to use it, but it makes sense. Why not use it if you can use it? So I'm going to use it. The only thing is the little section that has the opening. I'll show you. It's very small, and you have to have a small picture to see. It's small. Here's my hand. So the picture has to fit there, or you have to divide it in sections. That's the only bad thing about it. I got this at Hobby Lobby for $17 with the 40% off coupon. It's got a mirror. If you can make your own, do it. It's a projector. It's got the mirror in there. It's got the little light, the focus, and that's how I'm going to do it to transfer the the painting there. Now, I never tell my viewers, but I do have, I guess it's similar, I have eye problems, and I have alternating vision. So when I am drawing freehand, sometimes things are constantly moving because I only see out of one eye at a time. So like if I'm seeing with this eye, this looks a little bit this way. Then when I switch back to seeing in the other eye, things look like they moved a little bit. And there's been times where I've had to erase the whole painting or a whole section because I was off a little bit. But it was just my eyes playing tricks on me because that's what my eyes do. So when the viewer, Bobby, told me about this, I'm going to go ahead and try it if it makes it easier on me. I'm still going to paint it anyway. So whatever you guys want to do, it's just like using a grid. And I have used grids before, so I'm not going to judge you. You do what's best for you. What makes it easier for you. So, all right. So we're going to get started on the drawing. And I will be using, I love to use raw umber, so I'm going to use raw umber. If you've seen me draw, you'll know that I always use this little saucer. This saucer was given to me by my sister, and I don't use oils to snack on, so I'm going to put a little bit with my linseed oil. I always keep my linseed oil in here. There's some in there, and that's what I'm going to use to water or thin down the paint so I can do a watercolor effect. And I'm going to use a thin brush to draw. So we're going to get started. I'm going to have the lights off so that the projector projects the picture on there. And we're going to draw it. And I'm just going to show you how it works. So if you want to buy it, you can buy it. If you can make your own projector, by all means, do that. Alright, you guys, this is about as light as I can have it, but as you can see, you can probably barely see, I'm going to trace this, and we're going to go ahead and paint. I'm just going to use this. As you can see, the picture is on there. I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like. So the picture is on there. So I'm going to go ahead and trace her. And when I'm done tracing her, we'll go ahead and paint her. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and trace her. You can barely see it. If I was to, it probably wouldn't even do much good for me to show you this step right now, especially with it being so dark. So I'm just going to trace her right now that she's being projected on the canvas. And then we'll get to painting her, okay? Alright, you guys. I'll see you in the next video.